In this video, I want to add some more detail to our model and play around with a couple of new tools and look at some of the more important principles of how to make SketchUp work for you, to cut out as much work that you don't need to or want to have to do. So let's add a little surface feature here, some sort of like a climbing wall. So first, we're going to look at this cool new tool called the tape measure. So we'll take the tape measure right here. Hotkey is T for the tape measure. And click on this edge and drag it in. And this creates a reference line, which I can use to create inferencing points. So I'm going to drag this in, and I'm going to type 1 inch. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to drag in, and I'm going to do 3 inches. So now these two are 2 inches apart, and they're right in the middle of this pillar. So I can take the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle on the surface here, on this part of the pillar. Now I'll pull this up. Doesn't matter how high, probably halfway. We'll triple click it, make it a group, and then enter it by double clicking on it. So now we're inside of it, editing it. What I want you to do is add some interesting features. So let's look at a new tool, the 2-point arc. We've seen some of these tools before, but now we're going to use them in a real model. So let's try to do something kind of cool. Let's make sure that you're clicking on the wall that we're trying to create here. Click here once to start the arc, and then on the inside edge here to end the arc, and then let's pull it up so that it's kind of like, you know what, I'm going to redo it. I'm going to start even higher up here, and then down here. And then you can do this however you like. You can make it whatever looks good to you. And then I want to show you something cool. So once I have this sort of reference line drawn on this surface, I can take the push-pull tool, and then notice I have two faces now where I used to have one. I can click on this face, push it back until it gets this kind of shimmery look, and you get the tooltip that says on face. Click again, and it will cut away that whole area of the geometry. So this is a real simple way to just eliminate entire areas. So basically, I want to create a feature, I'll create a block, and then cut away everything that isn't that part of it isn't that feature. It isn't part of that feature. So now let's try this again. Let's use the circle tool. So inside the rectangle, there's a circle. So some of these tools are nested within each other. So we'll draw a few circles, make them kind of biggish, but don't overlap them, and try to keep them on this surface. Whoops. So like there, there, there. Let's do a smaller one right over here. And then, so I've drawn all these circles on the surface, and I use my push-pull tool. And this time I can push and pull them in until I get to that back face. But now, if I don't use any other tool, I can double click on these ones to do the same thing. So it'll repeat the same operation over and over again if you use double click. And then I've created this cool feature on this side, which kids can climb on or whatever. Select to get back out of it. And now this is a component or a group. All right, let's try something else that's cool. The array tool. So we're going to create sort of a railing here. So we're going to start with the circle tool. We're going to zoom in on this bottom face. And the first thing I want you to do is kind of infer to this midpoint right here. So the midpoint from here to here, find that midpoint, and then move your mouse up. And then find a place, I don't know, a few inches off the bottom. Click once to start drawing it, and then draw a 1-inch radius circle. So you get a circle right here like this. Grab the push-pull tool, click on that circle, and draw it out as if it's a bar. And now we have this bar. So we want to group this, and actually we want this to be a component. So we triple click it, so it selects the whole thing, right click on it, and make it a component. This time we're going to call it a bar. And hit enter. So now we have this bar. What we want to do is we want to make multiple copies of this all the way up. Now I could just use the move tool and move copy it, up like 5-6 times. But there's actually a better way. We can array it up. We can create an array of them really easily. Now this is a tricky thing, and if you don't get it the first time, you can always just click undo. The undo button's right up here on the top. So if you don't get it quite right the first time, you just undo and try to do it again. So watch this. Click on one of these and move it up some amount. Tap Control to duplicate it, and then click to drop it. Now before you click on any other tool or any other thing, type 5x. Now look in the bottom right hand corner of my screen, you can see where it says 5x, and then hit enter and it'll create 5 of them. So, and if I don't do anything else before, I can say, well, maybe I want 3 or 4 or 10. I think 5 is the right number. So make as many as look nice, and then we'll move on to the next thing. So this is arraying, and there's a lot more to arraying that you can do. I'll demonstrate it one more time. So you click on it, you start moving it up, click Control, click one more time, and then type 5x, enter. And that creates your bars. There's so much more to arraying that we're just touching the surface. And so we'll definitely get into this. This is one thing I like to do. I'm certainly not requiring this, but click them all and group them into one thing. So the bars themselves are a group. If we were using SketchUp Pro, we could use the outlining tool, but unfortunately we can't. If you want to, you can get SketchUp, you can upgrade and use, but it's kind of spendy. So we won't do it in the class, and I certainly don't require it. And I don't require you to group these, but I like them grouped for my own purposes. Let's make some stairs. So let's draw a rectangle. And this is back to this principle of make a big block and then chisel away everything that isn't the staircase. So click on the midpoint here, drag over here, and we'll just have a rectangle right here. We're going to push-pull this out, say 4 feet, and then push-pull again, all the way to the bottom. Boom. Referencing to the bottom of the pillar. We will make this a group. Triple click, right click, make it a group. Go into the group by double clicking on it, and so now I'm editing it. Now here's what we want to do. We'll take our tape measure, we'll measure out 12 inches, and then down from this edge 8 inches. So we have two reference lines that I can use to create some new geometry. So I'm going to start with my line tool. I'm going to click here at this intersection and drag it down to the other reference tool. Now I have, and then hit escape. Now I have all the geometry I need to build the staircase. Watch this. We'll go into the glasses tool and hit this button that says delete all guides. Boom. And make that go away. So I'm going to take the select tool and I'm going to select this line, hold shift so I can select multiple lines, so I can select both of these two lines. And then I'm going to move copy these down so that I can have one step here, one step here, one step here. So you take the move tool, make sure you click on this, so this point needs to connect to that point. So I click it and I start moving it. Notice how it starts warping my model. Tap Control and then that stops happening, and then you can move it. So then you can click down here. And then you can actually array it down by typing 3x because it's 4 steps, 12 inches, it's 30 inches tall. You see how it works. It's 32 inches tall, which is divisible by 8. And then let's chisel away anything that is not a staircase. Click here with the push-pull tool and push it across and get rid of it. So all that stuff disappears. And then to make this thing a little bit cooler looking, let's try using the 2-point arc tool, and we'll click, say, up here, bring down to maybe there, and then arc to there, push, pull, double click, and it's gone. And there's our staircase. Last but not least, let's build a slide. And once again, we don't need to be super precise about this. Click somewhere on this face with the rectangle tool and just draw a rectangle on this face. I like to triple click it, make it a group already. We're going to drag it out. We got to go into it. Go into it. push pull, drag it out, say, how many, the slide was 6 feet. 6 feet, enter. Drag it to the bottom. I'll show you in the next one a more cooler way of doing this slide in the next tutorial series. But this is a real quick and dirty one. It's not super pretty, but the result is passable. So what we want to do is we want to create kind of a curved surface that has some width to it. And this seems like it might be kind of tricky, but you can actually do it with this 2-point arc. We'll grab the 2-point arc, we'll click the bottom right corner here, we'll start, why isn't it doing it? Bring it to here, oh there it is, yeah. So you click down here to start the arc, it's a 3-click operation. We want to click to the bottom corner here, not this top part, bring it to the bottom, click, and then draw our arc in a slide shape, for kids. Remember, this is for kids. So now I have this arc built on this thing. Now this is cool, but this isn't finished yet. We need to actually give this thing some thickness. So watch what you can do. You can click on it, grab your move tool, click on it again. Again, push the control key so that it's copied, and then drag it up, say 2 inches? Yeah, 2 inches, because that's how thick the platform is. So 2 inches. You could also move it from here and then just infer to that point like a normal person, but I forgot. Grab the push-pull tool, and then we will... Oh, I did something wrong here. Oh, that's what did I do? Look at that. That's crazy. I messed up, so we'll redo these things. 2-point arc. Why is it not? Why is it pulling out like that? I don't understand what's going on here. What is going on? On face. There we go. Not sure what that was about. Click on it. So if you have any trouble... Oh, I did it wrong too. See, you make mistakes and you live and learn from them. Intersection, make sure it says on face. So that's on green axis. There we go, on face. That's what I want. So click on it, select it. Let's just make sure. Push pull, yeah, 2 surfaces. Click it, select the arc, move, grab it like this, hit Control to move copy, and then click up there. And now I have my slide profile. I can push pull this over to here, and this over to here, and then I have my slide. So there it is. Last but not least, let's do a couple of things just to give us a little bit more bang for our buck. Let's paint it. So when you hit the paint bucket, the materials tab will pop up on the right hand side. So let's just use the paint bucket, select some colors, and then just start clicking on components. It doesn't matter, just so that you get some color, something that looks cool. I'm using kind of bright primary colors. Oh, where's yellow? Oh, yellow for this back part here. And then we'll do kind of purple on the bars. Yeah. And then kind of a magenta on these columns. I mean, I would never paint children's furniture that looks like this, but this is just give it some color, and then we can play around with more advanced material stuff later on. The other thing we want to do is go into the glasses thing again. You can also find this if you just type shadows in here. But here you get more controls. So put a little check mark in the shadows thing, and then you can see that it'll give your model some shadows. And you can kind of change what time of day it is based on the direction that it's facing. So you can do like little shadow studies of your models and take pictures of them with some sort of mood lighting and stuff. And it's based on where the sun is. So I believe that the green axis faces north. I think that's north. The way that it orients it. I'm pretty sure. Or not. Date, time. Yeah, faces south. So that's it. This is our basic model. Go ahead, save it as whatever, and then as tutorial 3. I think this is tutorial 3. And then export the, download it as a 2021 SketchUp file, and then upload it to Canvas as normal. And we'll see you in the next tutorial.